It gives me a great pleasure to introduce our next great speaker. I'd like to just say a few words about Minister John Zerucelli. Secretary of State for Labor John was elected to Etobicoke, and soon after being appointed as Secretary for State for Labor, had a conversation with him, talked about who we are and how we work and what we do and what some of our issues are. And since then, John has expanded his network right across the country. I wouldn't be surprised if he's called with every one of you here in the room today. He is a very dedicated Secretary of State for Labor. He understands how we work. He's at the table advocating for us every step of the way. Him and his fantastic staff have worked with us closely. Many of the meetings we talked about earlier with the Prime Minister and announcements we've had with the Prime Minister during the election and post-election in our union training centers across the country are in many ways directly attributable to the great work that his staff and Minister Zerucelli has done and it continues to do on our behalf. It gives me great pleasure to introduce a friend of the building trades, a friend of labor, Secretary for State for Labor, John Zerucelli.
Well, thank you very much. Very gracious of you all. We have made it. Day one, almost over. I'm the last speaker. So if you don't mind, I have about 45 minutes here. Is that okay for everybody? Just joking. First of all, thank you to Sean and to the CBTU and to the entire Canadian board for having me here today. It's a true honor to be with you today. Let me start again with something personal. My dad, as you know, was a bricklayer. Okay, there's a bricklayer, more bricklayers in the room. He came to Canada with a dream to build a better life and learned his trade from the Italian community. He built our family home by his own hands in Rexdale. I'm enormously proud of it. So some kids went to camp. My brother and I spent our summers on the job site. A little less canoeing and arts, a bit more carrying bricks. We worked hard those summers. My dad paid us $5 a day. By the end of the summer, my brother and I decided that we deserved a bit more. So we did what any good worker would do. We organized, we protested, we went on strike. Lasted 2 hours. But we got a $1 day a raise, 20% increase. Not bad for my first collective agreement. If if this Secretary of State of Labor thing doesn't work out, maybe you guys would be interested in my services. But look, we learned something important, the value of hard work, the power of standing together. And I know that the story of my dad is not unique. I know many of your members are new to Canada, but you are the ones building this country. Your members are the ones who have built this country. And Canada has a tradition of building our way through big moments. From the railways to the St. Lawrence Seaway to the CN Tower, across this country, we have built big things. And we are in one of those moments again. Canada is facing two major challenges at the same time. Two big shifts happening right now. First, global trade rules are being rewritten. Some may say this was always the case, but tariffs are now the new norm. And the 232 tariffs that are being applied by the United States to key sectors in our economy are having a real and negative impact. Secondly, we are facing a moment of significant technological change. We are just starting to see the impact of AI. Computers are now doing things that people used to do and changing how work gets done, changing productivity. This is a big shift. These are two global trends that are hitting us at the same time and causing uncertainty. I know your members are feeling it, and I know they're feeling the pressure. But there are things we can control. We can focus our efforts to prepare Canada for the future while recognizing the moment we're in. and that's our focus. From day one, we've said exactly what we are going to do. Build big, build bold, build now with Canadian steel, Canadian lumber, Canadian aluminum, partnering with Indigenous peoples, building sustainably, and here's the important part, building with Canadian union workers. That is Prime Minister Carney's vision. So let me be clear about what that looks like. Number one, there is nobody in this room who would not agree that we need to build more homes. Uncertainty in the Ontario market has significantly slowed down private sector home building. So we acted. We worked with Ontario to remove the HST on new homes up to $1 million. That's up to $130,000 in savings for buyers. We are working with the province of Ontario to reduce municipal development fees by 50%. And we are investing $8.8 billion in housing-enabling infrastructure like sewers and roads. And through Build Canada Homes, we're building affordable homes across the country. That's not theory. That's getting homes built again. That's getting shovels in the ground. Second, major projects. Through the Major Projects Office, $126 billion in projects, $500 billion in future private sector investment into our country. This is national in scale. Pipelines, ports, rail, energy corridors, critical minerals, electrification, and we are seeing it move. I was with Prime Minister Carney at Contrecoeur, a major port expansion outside of Montreal. This project has been on the books for 40 years. And a few weeks ago, we broke ground. Shovels in the ground, workers on site, a project that is moving. In energy, last week we approved the $4 billion Sunrise Pipeline expansion in British Columbia. That's about capacity, that's about jobs, that's about making sure Canada can compete. And this is happening across the country, from LNG in British Columbia, to critical minerals in the prairies, to nuclear and transit in Ontario, to ports and trade corridors in Quebec, to offshore energy in Atlantic Canada. From Newfoundland to BC, Canada is building. Number three, community infrastructure. Because building a country isn't about major projects, it's about what people rely on every day. Hospitals, community centers, roads, bridges, transit systems. Like the Embleton Community Centre in Brampton, or in Nova Scotia in Bridgewater, we're upgrading sewer infrastructure. In Northwest Territories, in Hay River, we're building a new water treatment facility. In Saskatchewan and Regina, we're upgrading the South Trunk sewer system. In British Columbia and Vancouver, we're building the Maripole Community Centre, a zero-carbon, energy-efficient space with childcare, recreation, and community program for families. These are just a few examples of our focus on community infrastructure. And we're tying that directly to housing and growth because homes don't work without infrastructure. Number four, investments in defense and in the north. We're investing to strengthen Arctic infrastructure, upgrading airfields, building new operational hubs. We're advancing the Mackenzie Valley Highway, the Grays Bay Road and Port, and the Arctic Economic and Security Corridor. Projects that connect communities, unlock resources, open Canada to new global markets. And we're strengthening Canadian sovereignty by investing and building our defense infrastructure, upgrading military bases, modernizing facilities, and building the housing that the men and women who serve this country deserve, because supporting our armed forces isn't just about equipment, it's about the infrastructure that they rely on every day. The infrastructure needed to support our armed forces. This is economic development, it's national security, and it's sovereignty. But none of this happens without workers, your workers. And that brings me to something fundamental. To build at this scale, we need workers who can move from project to project. Last year, with your help, we removed federal barriers to labor mobility. Those are the federal barriers. And we're not stopping there. A few weeks ago, federal, provincial, and territorial governments agreed to harmonize two key training standards, working at heights and mobile elevating work platforms. Once implemented, that means no more duplicative training. That means workers can move faster, safer, and more efficiently. But there is more to do. The CBTU, thank you, took a leadership role in advancing this objective. So thank you for your work on this file, because this was done in partnership with you. But I need your help. Canada needs your help. I believe we can move faster. I believe we can eliminate unnecessary duplication. I believe we can harmonize standards faster across this country and improve safety at the same time. And if you believe that too, you need to tell your provincial governments. Many of them are stepping up and showing leadership. You know who they are. But if you want real progress, we need everyone on board, because none of this works without you. Build Force Canada tells us nearly 270,000 construction workers will retire in the next decade. So we need to act now. We need to bring more young people into the trades and make sure these careers stay strong and respected, because these are good jobs, real careers, good pensions, good union jobs. And we need to be honest. Too many apprentices aren't making it through. In 2024, only 32% completed their program within 6 years, and 42% dropped out. We can do better. And here's the thing. I want you to know very clearly that the Government of Canada will continue to help support you and do its part. I'm excited for you to see the level of support in tomorrow's economic statement, and I look forward to talking to you after that. Let me finish with this. We're not talking about plans. We're not talking about announcements. We're talking about building right now. We have the plan, we have the projects, we have the workers. And for the first time in a long time, everyone is working together. So I'm going to conclude where I began. I outlined 2 defining challenges of our time. Our response is clear. We build our way forward because we're building the foundation for the next generation. But we need your help. Keep talking to Canadians. Talk to your neighbors. Be active on social. Say clearly, it's time to build. And the truth is, we're just getting started. We'll only get this done one way, together. Let's build a Canada strong for all. Let's keep this momentum. Long live Canada, the true north, strong and free. Thank you for letting me be here today.